Hey guys, it's only one person. Who's that? Unknown trader? I always assume it's you, bro. Let me just do something real quick, guys. It's important. The fuck? The fucking shit. Hmm. I don't know how many people are watching right now, but just bear with me. I'm just trying to fix something here. I'll be right there. Hold on. Wait, baby. Hold on, guys. All right, guys. 21 people. Please hit the like button and subscribe. Sorry about that. I had something going on here. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and save that. Okay. How many damn files did Epstein's weird ass have? High powered people had to do or had to have known what he was about. Yeah, you got to think so. I'm sure they did. And I don't know why, nobody blew the whistle sooner, I guess, or maybe just nobody listened. Not this guy again. Num nums. You don't have to watch. You could just fuck off. That right? Kitty bang bang tool. Yeah. Okay. Hey, if it wasn't for my haters, I might not have any viewers. But you're always here. You're always here watching. Now, there's good guys that hang out here. They're just outnumbered. Anyone defending Trump or any other elites now cannot be considered human, especially after what we've learned. I agree. And I don't care. Listen, I say the same thing on every show. I don't care. Bill Clinton, anybody who's in the files, if they did something wrong, and Clinton is accused in some of these same things Trump is. He's accused of doing shit, right alongside of him, I guess you could say. So this loser again, hate how this loser shows up while I'm scrolling. All you got to do, I'm sure there's the three dots there. You could click on it and say don't recommend channel, and you should be all set. 3 million has to be an exaggeration. No. 3 days ago they released apparently 3.5 million. Now Todd Blanche said yesterday there's 3 million left to go, and he won't release them. And the reason I said Trump refuses to release them is because Trump is in charge of Todd Blanche. Whatever Trump tells him to do, that's what he'll do. Here's the guy denying the right, have been calling for the release since 2016, but thinks he's on the front lines now. You haven't been calling for the release since 2016. And if you were, then why didn't President Trump release them? You weren't. The whole thing became a big deal in 2019 when Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell got busted. Most of us never even knew who Jeffrey Epstein was until then. So you weren't looking for it since 2016. And if so, why didn't Trump release him? Barron Trump 2054 refuses. Yes. They said they will not release the last 3 million files. Let's hit 80,000 views on this one. That'd be great, Raphael. But actually, on the last one, I got 98,000. So, you ever look for help with TDS? Tremendous dick syndrome, yes. And there are surgeries, but apparently, it's really not worth it in the end. This dude is deranged. Sure I am. The head of the FBI is a joke. My head hurts watching him speak. I know he's a fucktard. He really is. You want more pictures of Clinton in a dress or Speedo? I haven't seen any of either of those. None of him in a dress, none of him in a Speedo. I do know that there's a painting of him in Epstein's house in a dress, but it's not a picture. It's obvious that there are people from both sides, and both sides don't want the files to be released. Well, Eric, usually I agree with you on things, but I mean, I think it's fair to say the Democrats forced the release of these files, and it's the Republicans that have been covering them up. I don't think the left is worried. LOL sounds like every libtard gets upset. Why didn't Biden release them? Why didn't Trump release them? The Democrats had 4 years to release everything. Trump had 4 years to release everything. Actually, we were. You can deny all you want. No, you couldn't have been, because most of you didn't even know Jeffrey Epstein existed in 2016, you fucking assholes. And if you did, why weren't you getting on President Trump about this? Guys, I've been listening to and studying politics for a long time. Nobody on the right was trying to get Epstein files when Trump was in office. You had no interest then. You didn't. You say that as only one side is releasing the files. One side. Well, you mean the Democrats, when they're not in power, should be the ones releasing them? You don't know anything, Matt Kelly. The Democrats are the only reason they're being released. Jesus fucking Christ. There was a discharge petition that needed 218 signatures to force a vote on the House floor to make this law to release the files, and 214 of those signatures were Democrats. Trump did not want people signing that discharge petition. He threatened Marjorie Taylor Greene, and he begged Lauren Boebert to take her name off the petition. He didn't want them released. He had no choice but to sign it into law. Then they missed the deadline. The heat was on. That's the only reason anything got released. Only one side releasing a file. Plus, all the emails and stuff that got released, was it during the summer or within the last few months, and all the other stuff that's been coming out has been except for this 3.5 million and the 12,000 before it, it's all been dropped by the Democrat House Oversight Committee. They were the ones that dropped 30,000 emails between Epstein and Michael Wolff and Ghislaine and all that stuff. So you're wrong. Did you get dropped on your head as a child? No, razor. You know what's frustrating is knowing that you guys are stupid and that I know what I'm talking about, but you guys come in here with the confidence that you actually know what's going on and I don't. You guys, every single time. Yeah, I do. Absolutely. That's why I'm good at this. Every single show, you guys tell me shit you don't know. Like, every show, there's people that don't know Trump is a convicted felon. Every show, there's people that don't know he was found civilly liable for sexual assault. Every show now, there's people that still don't realize the Epstein files have been released. And even the ones that do say Trump isn't in them, even though he is. I mean, you guys don't know the most basic things, the things that are being reported at every fucking where. I don't know how you do it. How do you stay inside that bubble? Where nothing that bothers you is allowed to penetrate your bubble. You just stay in the right-wing media bubble, so you hear what you want to hear all day, every day. And then when you hear somebody actually telling the truth, you're like, oh my God, you're insane, because I've never heard that before. Hey, Miss Campione. Forced from an executive order from Trump. Yeah, there was no executive order from Trump. There was the Epstein Files Transparency Act that only went through because they got 214 Democrat signatures. They only got 4 Republicans. So then the Democrats right away, before they got the discharge petition, the Democrats were trying to make that happen, and the Republicans were blocking it. Mike Johnson shut down the House, so you know what I mean? So they couldn't force a vote. And then they fought it tooth and nail. Mike Johnson, they needed the last signature was going to be Adelita Grijalva. She was elected in Arizona. She needed to be sworn in. Mike Johnson shut down the House for 50 days just to avoid swearing her in, because Trump don't want the files released. Then once they got the signatures, there was no choice anymore. The House Republicans said, we're going to vote for it. We're not voting against it because we're on record here. And then the Senate said the same thing, even though Trump tried to talk House and Senate Republicans out of signing the law, and they did. So his back was against the wall, so he had to sign it. He did everything in his power not to release the files. He's not a convicted felon, brother. See what I mean? He's not a convicted felon. Donald Trump he has his case on appeal right now because he was convicted of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. He is a convicted felon. No. Who are you talking about? Them, I guess? I think you're talking about them, not me. What was he convicted of? 34 counts of falsifying business records in order to cover up another crime. I think you're on one side and not standing in the middle and looking at both sides. No intention to insult you, but you're kind of lean into the left quite a bit instead of standing dead. No, but I see things. I mean, I'm obviously more left than right, but I will admit anything. Like Clinton is in these files for some bad shit, man. So is Bill Gates, and those fucking people should fry, as far as I'm concerned. It's not just Trump, but I argue what's true, not what's made up. And just if you're on the left, you're on the right side of things, so to speak. No, he'll win the appeal. So at least this guy knows that Trump is a convicted felon. I mean, you should tell your other MAGA people that, because they don't know. Yeah, and he might win the appeal. You never know. I highly doubt it. But as of right now, at this moment, he is a convicted felon. He's the only convicted felon to ever occupy the White House. Let me see. Your truth. No. The truth, Romeo. The truth. Yes, Letitia James was just above board. Yes, she was. All right, so I'll explain that too, because I just saw a thing on Facebook. Bill Clinton deported this many, George W. Bush deported this many, Barack Obama deported this many. How come no protests until now? First of all, there were protests. It just never got this type of traction and this type of attention. But I'll tell you the difference. You want to know the difference between what's going on now and what happened under every other president? And by the way, ICE wasn't even created until 2003. Nobody during George W. Bush's administration or Barack Obama's or Joe Biden's was getting killed, shot in the face in the middle of the street for nothing. People weren't getting killed. Do you realize ICE fucking pepper sprayed trick-or-treaters on Halloween? They did. I've seen multiple videos. They're throwing old ladies to the ground and arresting them just because they suspect they might be illegal. They're keeping them jailed for hours only to find out they're American citizens. They've been doing this to all types of people. This is unprecedented. We've never seen racial profiling like this or anything else. If you have a tattoo, if your skin is a little dark, if you have an accent, you're getting arrested. You might be released, but you're getting arrested. This is the Gestapo. This isn't ICE like it was under Obama or Bush. It's not. That's why, that's the difference. The difference is, just like with everything else with Trump, it's being done entirely differently than it was under the other presidents. You think if Obama had this happening, that the whole fucking world wouldn't have been talking about it? Holy shit, the man wore a tan suit and you guys lost your marbles. Fox News was talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. The tan suit, it was a scandal. Imagine if fucking Obama had people getting shot in the face in the middle of the fucking street. Over 50 people were killed by ICE under Obama. Do your homework, idiots. No, they weren't. He's talking about people that died, and that could be from anything. Heart attacks, anything. They were not killed. No, I don't have to do that, fuckface. I don't have to move anywhere. You're allowed to be in this country whether you like what's going on or not. You're right. It's being done differently by all of the organizations. Why is that? Think about it. What is your hypothesis? If the liberal cities would call ICE and release the criminals to ICE, all of this would not happen. Why should they do that? I don't understand. Why should they do that? And by the way, that's another thing. There's illegals all over the country, but they're only focused on liberal cities, and this is why. This is all has to do with the midterms, guys. You will see during the midterms, they will have ICE at all the polling places. They will have the feds there, everything. They're going to try to scare as many people as possible out of voting because they know they don't stand a fucking chance. I'm so stupid, but you don't know how to spell your. I'm not a liberal. I am not. Oh my gosh, is he still talking about Trump? Yeah, this channel's about Trump. So what should I be talking about, dummy? Obama won the fucking release date, neither, just like Biden did. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, is he still talking about Trump? Like, marry him. Okay, whatever. Uh, the only people who got shot were attacking ICE agents. No, they weren't. Renee Good was driving away from the ICE agents. The cop, when he shot her, was on the side of the vehicle. He was not in any danger. Okay. Um, and as far as Travis, I'm sorry, Alex Preddy, I mean, you guys, you are completely full of shit. That man did nothing but stand up for a woman. He didn't put his hand on an ICE agent. He didn't do nothing. They beat him senseless and then shot him in the head, even after they disarmed him. He never pulled his gun. He never reached for it. He never touched it, not once. They pulled it out of his holster. One agent ran off with it, and the other one shot him in the head. And then I believe they unloaded on him about 10 shots, I believe. I'm with you, Emmy. Fuck him. Guys, please hit the like and subscribe. It's very important. I want to get, listen to this number. This is the number of subs I want to get today. Fuck tons. Okay. I want fuck tons of subs, likes, because the likes piss these dickheads off. I'm not just saying that. Every fucking show, somebody has to be like, oh, look, you got so many views, but you only got X amount of likes. So do me a favor, tell them to go fuck themselves by hitting the like button. And if you can, please send a super chat into the mix. Then you'll get your comment read when there's too many for me to read them all, and you'll get a shout out, and you'll be contributing to the show, and we'll just be one happy, fun family over here. Let me put this in there too, just in case anybody wants to use it. I always forget to do this. Here is, there you go. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. The world is just one big hospice with fresh air. All right. Why? Because they're criminals. They're not. They're not. Alex Preddy he didn't break any laws. Neither did Renee Good. Trump is a motherfucking scum. Yeah, damn right. They're saying all these violent protests are not their home state and they need to leave. Saying all these violent protests are not their home state and they need to leave. I don't know what you mean. Over 200 American citizens murdered by illegals since Biden took office, and 1,500 illegals convicted of sex crimes. Okay, now go do natural-born citizens, Americans, and come back and let me know. And besides, I wouldn't trust your numbers. I'd have to look at those. You know what I mean? I'd have to look at those numbers because, Jeff, you're MAGA. Chances are that's complete bullshit. I guarantee you that's complete bullshit. Estimates suggest there's 1.6 to 1.7 illegal immigrants in Texas. Estimates show there are 130,000 illegal immigrants in Minnesota. Ask why is Minnesota under attack by ICE and not Texas? Of course. No, I'm not. That was a long time. I'm not like you guys. You guys are still mad Trump lost in 2020. It is what it is. Trump's the president. That's the way it is. I wouldn't, who knows, man? I wouldn't doubt it, but they are low life pieces of shit. They truly are scumbags. ICE, they should be fucking abolished. No, Johnny, I'm not. I'm not. Preddy was likely a pedo, just like, no, he wasn't. He was a goddamn ICU nurse. He was not a pedo. Why does the sick MAGA cult protect the pedo in chief? Because they're just like him. You know, I heard somebody say this earlier on one of these shows, and it was so, maybe it was a Instagram video or something. It was so true, man. The woman was talking about how, you know, at first she asked herself, how could all these people be, you know, so obsessed, you know, and so supportive of such a toxic man? And then she realized that's exactly why they're obsessed with him. And it's true. If you're a Mexican person, or I mean, I'm sorry. If you're a racist person, Trump's your guy. You know, if you're an angry, evil, bitter motherfucker like Archie Bunker, Trump's your guy. If you're homophobic, Trump's your guy. If you're transphobic, Trump's your guy. If you hate Muslims, Trump's your guy. If you only hate people who are lily white, Trump's, or only like people that are lily white, Trump's your guy. That's all there is to it. I mean, they love him because of he's an asshole, not in spite of it. You know what I mean? They do. As soon as he stops being an asshole, they won't like him anymore, but that'll never happen. Do you guys think 47 days of training is enough to be handed a gun and told to go to detain people? If Trump told them it's okay, they believe it's okay. I personally, no. It was 6 weeks. Now it's 4 fucking weeks. That's all the training you need to be handed a gun and let loose on the street as an ICE agent. Thank you, Ham Radio. I appreciate you. I don't think I could get any dumber. I didn't think I could get any dumber, but then I came upon this guy who's just as bad as The View, and that's pretty hard to beat. Whoopi Goldberg. This guy's a fucking bitch. So, Jacob, I guess you don't realize that what you just did is admit that you're so dumb that before this live stream, you didn't think you could get dumber. You never want to write, I didn't think I could get any dumber, but should never write, I didn't think I could get any dumber. What a stupid fuck. Why would he write that? I didn't think I could get any dumber. I don't think you can get any dumber. If you wrote that, I don't think so. You're insecure anyway. Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Oh, here we go with the pandemic shit. Yeah, get out of here. Get me fucking kicked off of YouTube. Don is deep underwater on every issue. He is. He absolutely is. And a poll came out today. The majority of the country blame him for the economy, for how it is right now. And also, I think 53% of people or something said that it's worse now than it was under Biden, and they're correct. How much training do you suggest since you're an expert on this subject? I am not an expert on this subject. But if it was 6 weeks, and now they've decreased it to 4 simply so they could get people on the street quicker, that's not good. There's a reason it was 6 to begin with, right? The firearm training, all that shit. They're not worried about any of this no more. They just want to give them guns and get them out on the street. They're fucking, there's people that a lot of these ICE agents were pardoned January 6th rioters, people that beat police officers. These are not people that could ever make it onto a police force. How many files did Biden release? Biden couldn't release the files. Trump released them. Stop watching fucking CNN. No, there's 3 million more files Trump will not release. And again, guys, he could have released them anytime since July 2025. He refused. We had to make a law. They actually had to go to the House. It has to be a House and Senate vote. They had to pass a law called the Epstein Files Transparency Act just to force Trump to release the files because he wouldn't do it on his own. He couldn't, but Biden couldn't have. What? No, Trump, Jesus Christ. First of all, guys, Trump was in office before Biden, and he had the files too. Then Biden was in office. And I'll tell you what happened, and you won't believe it anyway. But when Trump was in office and the big bust happened with Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein, it was obviously an open case, right? And Ghislaine Maxwell was being prosecuted, correct? Under Trump? Yeah. That's why Trump, even if he wanted to, which he didn't, couldn't have released the files then, okay? Then, under Biden, Ghislaine Maxwell got convicted. And she immediately went on appeal, her case. Plus, there was open investigations. People were still bringing information to the FBI. There was ongoing litigation, all that stuff. Then in July 2025, Pam Bondi said, the case is closed. No further investigations. That right there means the files can now be released. And that's why it became a big deal all of a sudden. No, because I just made the same excuse for Trump. So how you figure that? So I made excuses for Trump too, right? Okay. You're right. Because I said the exact same thing about both of them. It was always Trump's thing to cover his own ass. Of course. No doubt about it. He's been a scumbag his whole life. Let's all request he release them if he's not guilty of wrongdoing. Well, that's what most of the country is doing. And there's 3 million files left over, and Todd Blanche said they won't release them. And that's Trump. You know, Trump runs shit. So it's up to Trump. If Trump says, Todd, release them, he releases them. Reported for misinformation. Yeah, they do that on every show. You're not going to accomplish anything. How could he know any of this? Is he the director of all these departments in our country? You know, I read and learn. You know, you should try it too, fuckface. Brad Lang, that's how stupid you MAGA files are. I love that. Are you Or I'm sorry, you bragged that Trump released the files. Yeah, after they had to make a fucking law to release them. You guys sound so dumb. They don't even know about the Epstein Files Transparency Act. They don't know about the discharge petition. They don't know about the House and the Senate voting. They don't know any of this shit. They don't know. No, I didn't release 3 million, or I didn't read 3 million files. I'm not Johnny fucking Five. No, I read what I read, and it's not good. And I read them on every show. There's tons of shit about Trump and the Epstein files. You can go to DOJ.gov. That's the Department of Justice. It's not, you don't go to a media website. You don't do any of that shit. Go to DOJ.gov and look at the Epstein library. It's right there, and search Trump and see what you find. You're dumb if you don't think we know that stuff. No, you don't know that stuff. Every single show I do, you guys, you've proven it in this very chat, jackass. People in this chat so far have said that Trump is not a convicted felon, even though he is. People have said that Trump just released the files on his own, when in fact there had to be a law fucking passed for it. They don't know anything about the discharge petition. They don't realize that without Democrats, the law would have never been fucking passed. You don't know any of this stuff. You guys are truly the stupidest motherfuckers on planet Earth. You are. I mean, it's astonishing. Yeah, of course he's a convicted felon. They don't know that, though. Sure there is, Noah. Sure there is, even though you don't even know who the fuck I am. Such BS. Tell us about the incriminating evidence you read in the files, or shut the fuck up. All right, so one accusation was that he forced a 13-year-old girl to give him oral sex, and she bit him. And after she was done giving him oral sex, she laughed about the fact that she bit him, and she was hit by either him or Epstein. Another accusation is that they had these calendar girls parties at one of Trump's properties, and Jeffrey would bring these girls and Trump would auction them off, and he would use his fingers to measure the tightness of, and stuff like that. And Clinton's involved in a lot of these accusations right along with Trump. There's a shit ton. Another guy that said that Trump raped his daughter. There's a bunch of stuff. Oh, come on. Who was hurt in the felony? No Banks, but Letitia James did the same thing. No, she did not do the same thing. You don't even know what you're talking. You're talking about a mortgage where her sister was going to buy a property for herself, but it was actually, she was going to rent it out or so. It's not the same thing. And who are you to say no one was hurt? Who was hurt? You guys don't understand anything. And by the way, there doesn't always have to be a victim of a crime. There doesn't have to be. You know that, right? Fucking Jesus. It depends on the crime. And he falsified business records 34 times to cover up for a hush money payment he made to a porn star, so that porn star wouldn't tell the voting electorate that he had an affair with her behind his wife's back while she was at home with their newborn. So $10. We need to fix the political system in this country because it's division for division's sake for the past few decades, and this whole mess justifies it even more than Biden's admin justified the right. I don't know, but I appreciate the $10, bro. I don't know, man. There's no being united at this point, and believe me, I, for one, and I'm sure most leftists would agree, we have no desire to be united with you guys. I mean, I will never in a million fucking years be united with somebody that defends a pedophile like this. Never. The crime was falsifying business records. They don't get it. Why didn't Biden release? Okay, same thing over and over. Look at him. He thinks he's original. Why didn't Biden release all the Epstein files if they implicated Trump? Did you idiots ever stop to ask yourself that question? Yes, and I've answered it probably 200 times since I started doing politics shows, including in this very live stream like 10 minutes ago. So you might want to rewind. These guys, that's what I'm saying. They don't know anything. If you notice, they never have any numbers. They never have any stats. They don't know anything. Literally, when I say that, I mean it. They don't know anything. So they regurgitate what they hear. And they hear when it comes to the Epstein files, well, why didn't Biden release them? Because if there was something in there on Trump, Biden would have released it. Meanwhile, there's very legit reasons why they weren't released under Trump in his first term or Biden. Okay, but they don't know anything, so they just repeat that because they think they got a point. You know what I mean? They heard like Sean Hannity say it, and they feel smart now. Y'all Democrats literally couldn't release the files because of the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Yeah. And the fact that her case went on appeal. Yeah. Trump dropped a dime on Epstein in 2006, you idiot. No, he didn't. God almighty, for the love of Christ. I mean, this is what I mean. You guys heard that and you repeated it. Too, just in case. You repeated it, even though there's no truth to it. No truth. You can't find a credible source in this world that's reported that. Did Donald Trump work with the FBI against Jeffrey Epstein? Why won't it talk to me anymore? Hold on. Did Donald Trump work with the FBI against Jeffrey Epstein? While Donald Trump's team and allies have claimed he was helpful to law enforcement regarding Jeffrey Epstein, official evidence of formal work with the FBI has not been confirmed. FBI informant claim. In September 2025, House Speaker Mike Johnson claimed Trump acted as an FBI informant to help take this stuff down. However, Johnson later walked back the statement, admitting he may not have used the right terminology, and that claim had not been independently confirmed. He never, ever spoke to anybody, any law enforcement of any kind about Jeffrey Epstein. He took a call from the victim's lawyer in 2009. That's it. And the lawyer said he was helpful. And that was all. It was about a civil suit. He could have just been confirming that he was with Epstein on a certain date or anything. He didn't say he was helpful in proving the lawsuit or getting anybody criminally prosecuted. He did nothing to turn in Jeffrey Epstein. And that's why, if you look it up right now, you could look it up anywhere you want. Use Elon Musk's Grok. You will find no evidence. You will find no real claims that Trump worked with the FBI. It's just a rumor that you made up because you heard Mike Johnson say something that he was wrong about. Afro Kang, $5. Milking my money, LOL. I'm not red team, just upset how the division in this country wasn't ever that real. The Epstein files are tough. No, I know, but I mean, you got to admit, when did it get this way? Trump is, and thank you again, brother. I really do appreciate the support. Trump, he stands up in front of the whole world and says, Democrats are the enemy of the people, and I hate my enemies and stuff like that. And, that's what he does. So he literally, he does everything in his power to divide us more and more. The problem with this country is this. Half of this country are critical thinkers who can't be conned by a con man, especially not a guy who's been known his whole life as a con man. Okay. They read, they research, they study, they watch, they listen, and they learn. The other half of the country are literally the dumbest people in the country. That's not just a claim. That's a fact about your red states. So I don't even want to go over it again unless I have to, but and they have no critical thinking skills. They don't. That's why they ask questions like, why wasn't there protest about ICE under Obama? Anybody with a fucking brain in their head who has any critical thinking skills at all would say, oh, well, yeah, people are getting shot and killed in the street. That didn't happen under Obama, but they have no common sense. Even the Joe Biden thing. Why didn't Biden release the file? You don't know that Maxwell's case was under appeal and they don't release files when a case is open like that. You don't know. The reason it became such a big deal in July of 2025 is because in July of 2025, that's when Pam Bondi said the case is finally closed and the files could be released. They don't know anything. They have no common sense. The stuff that all of us know that we see and hear and read about every day, they have no clue. They have no clue. They're the most lost people on planet Earth. They don't know the simplest thing. When you ask them, what's your favorite Trump policy? They don't know any. So they say border and trans. That's all you hear. I mean, it's really like talking to a special ed class. Yeah, I'm fully aware, Juan. Oh, there you are, Juan. Now I see you at least. You are so stupid. Obama didn't have the media and the Democrats ad. What does that mean? What? Bro thinks because his head doesn't fit hats, he knows critical thought. Oh, I do. I do, believe me. No, I don't. Okay, Minky, whatever you say. I mean, one of you can call in and debate me right now if you'd like. No, that's not good enough because the law that was passed, you understand? The law that Trump signed because he had no fucking choice said all files must be released unredacted. Meanwhile, probably like 70% of all these files are redacted. Okay. So it's all files. No, you don't. If a judge orders me to turn over certain documents and says, I want all of these documents by this date, and I bring him half, I'm going to jail. Okay. That's the way it works. You do what the fucking, what the law says. And the law says all files. And by the way, they're way late. They just released this shit 3 days ago. The deadline was December 19th. That's what the law said. They had to be released by December 19th, unredacted, and any redactions that were made have to be explained in court by January 2nd, and they missed that court date too. So it's so funny because you guys sit here and try to make fun of me, and you don't even realize that there are smart people in the chat that know I'm right about what I'm saying, and they all know how stupid you are. I mean, you guys are the laughing stock of the entire fucking world, not just the country. You ever see a Trump rally? I mean, there's more people than there are teeth, and there's just the biggest, dumbest, fattest, fucking most retarded, stupidest fucking hillbillies you've ever seen in your life. They could barely add 2 + 2. I mean, it's unreal. I don't even know how these people tie their shoes. They come from the least educated states in the entire country, the poorest states. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. It's so rare to see one that says, well, I want to keep an open mind about this because what you just told me, I'm going to look into that. No. If it's negative about old Donnie boy, no. You're lying. TDS. Did you call a Democrat smart? Democrats are smarter than Republicans. Yes. Again, I'll say it again. I get sick of repeating myself, but apparently you guys still haven't gotten it. The 2024 electoral map for the electoral map, right? The dumbest, meaning the least educated, poorest states in this country voted for Trump because those are the red states. The red states in this country have the worst education. They're last in healthcare, and they have the highest levels of poverty. So they're the poorest, dumbest, sickest people in the country. The blue states happen to be the wealthiest, most well-educated states. Also red states have the highest rates of violent crime. So, it's a fact. I mean, it's not that when you say you're calling a Democrat smart, a Democrat is smarter than you. I guarantee it. I mean, there are some dumb Democrats, I'm sure, but the average Democrat watches, reads, listens, and learns more than any of you do. So any Democrat will eat any of you alive in a fucking debate. Poorest state in the country, is New Mexico, and Camel Joe took the majority. New Mexico's blue. I don't think it's the poorest state in the country, but let's see here. What are the poorest states in America?
Based on recent data, Mississippi, Louisiana, and New Mexico are consistently among the poorest states in America, with poverty rates often above 17 to 18%. Other states with high poverty rates include West Virginia, Arkansas, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Alabama, and Tennessee.
Yeah. What are the least educated states in the country?
West Virginia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, and New Mexico are often identified as the states with the lowest levels of education in the country. These states tend to have lower rates of high school and college graduates, along with generally lower educational quality.
Texas and Kentucky and Oklahoma, they're on there too. Yes, they are. Exactly. Statistically speaking, Democratic voters are more educated than Republicans. I mean, that's why when I say you're dumb, it's not my opinion. It's a fact. You guys are just dumb. That's why you could be fooled by Donald Trump. I mean, never. That's why I call this street smart politics. I'm no college graduate, but you can't con me. You'll never get a con past me. You can ask the people that have been with me for years. I'm always the guy that calls out the bullshit, and I'm always the guy that winds up being right about it. Donald Trump, how is it that you all know that Donald Trump has a lifelong reputation of being a con man, yet somehow you let him con you? That's how dumb you are. That's how dumb you are, that you think he's smart. He stands in front of you and says, I'm going to lower prescription drug costs by 1,500%. It's mathematically impossible. And you cheer this shit on. And even worse, when he insults you, when he stands in front of you in a rally and he says, we won with the poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. You dummies are so stupid that you cheered for him after he said that. I mean, the only person who thinks you're stupider than I think you are is Donald Trump. Donald Trump thinks you're even stupider than I think you are. Yeah, the bald jokes. Yeah, you're really killing me inside. I didn't know I was bald until you told me. Biden didn't what either. God damn, there's a lot of comments. Guys, please hit the like and subscribe. It's very important. I don't want anything for MAGA. I really don't. But the good guys that agree with me and shit, because it's correct. Everything I'm saying and stuff. Please hit the like button and subscribe. It's very, very important. I only want good guys. I don't care about the bad guys. So why are we paying for all these smart people's college education? You're not. How do you figure that you are? Red states don't pay for anything. Red states don't even pay for themselves. They're welfare states in two different ways. They receive funding. If it wasn't for blue states like LA and New York, or California and New York, you'd go bankrupt. States like that support those red fucking poor fucking welfare states. That's how it works. So you're not paying for anybody's anything. And besides, also, a disproportionate amount of welfare funding goes to red states. So you're literally not paying for anything. It would take a long time. But I never said I read 3 million. I'm not fat, Chris. I got a chubby face. I'm not fat. It's the same thing from you guys every fucking time. Fat, bald. Okay. Yeah. How long would it? Oh, you're asking the same question over and over again, even though I already answered it. All right. That's how we deal with that. Liberals run AI. Ask AI, is AI liberal bias and influence? Yeah, I would say no. Liberals run AI. Meanwhile, the most popular AI app in the world right now is Elon Musk's Grok. Stupid fucks. It is us versus them. Well, thank you, Quinn. I appreciate that. I noticed that some of the files are being removed. Oh, yeah. Some of the ones I read earlier and shit, the ones that are really bad about Trump, they're removing them. They certainly are. It's fucking sickening. You think Trump would be likable if he was a CIA agent? No, Trump could never be likable. Never. The false reality you maggots live in. It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's, people always ask me how I do these shows, and the honest answer is I don't know. I mean, dealing with these people is like you're right, because you spent years researching this shit. And some dummy who just read a social media post comes in with an alternative fact and swears up and down that they're correct and you're wrong. It's like, and you know how many shows I've said, guys, go look this up, come back to me. They won't look it up, because here's the thing. MAGA is their identity. Donald Trump is their identity. Without him, there's nothing. They got nothing. These are poor people. They're dumb people. They're sick people, like I just explained. And they've never really been anything in life. MAGA came along, Trump and MAGA, and all of a sudden they were a part of something, So that's their identity. That's why they wear the hats and the shirts and they wave the flags with his name on it. And they got the flags in the back of their hillbilly trucks and their fucking yard signs and shit. They're obsessed with this man because he is their identity. So they refuse to actually leave the bubble they're in, so to speak, because in that bubble they feel safe, they feel comfortable, they got their bullshit news, their fucking Fox News talking to them, telling them exactly what they want to hear. They don't want to hear anything different. They don't want to learn anything different. They don't look shit up because they're afraid they're going to find an answer they don't like. You know what I mean? They are, Rick the Real. They are. And this guy said, I don't know, somebody said he has a high school degree. That's it. I never claimed to have anything more. If you're talking to me, what's your point? The channel is called Street Smart Politics specifically because I don't have a formal education, but I've educated myself. I've learned all this over the years. I've researched for years. And that's why anything I say on here, as much as you don't like it, and like I said, you won't research it because you don't want to find out I'm right. But if you look it up as I'm talking, you'll find out that I'm right. Everything I'm saying is right. Look, Mr. Smarty Pants, you should have known that already. What's with Googling everything? So they can hear it. I do know it. I say it, but they don't believe me. So I play, I let the fucking AI tell them, and they don't believe that either. So it's really pointless. Try coming up with an original idea. Rather than talking about President Trump, the leader of the free world, who's actually a pedophile, you think there's anything more interesting or important than that? There's not. And I had an original idea. I started a whole fucking community about mafia history. You have no idea how big it got, how many channels I've created. That was my original idea. And it made me a living for 4.5 years and still does to some extent. You're not even street more, but okay. I'm not even street more, but you don't know nothing. You use AI. Yes, I do. I tell you this stuff off the top of my head, and then I just simply show you when you don't believe it, Biden gave student loan forgiveness, but they're so smart they can't pay for college. No, it's not that. It's that we live in a country where nobody should have to. It's like the only civilized country in the world where people have to go into debt for 30 fucking years just so they can get a college education. So what Donald Trump did was terrific. And if you had a kid who was smart enough to go to college, you would hope the same for them so they don't spend the next 30 years of their lives paying off the fucking schooling, It's disgusting in this country what it can cost a kid to go to a 4-year fucking college. So good for Joe Biden. A Sicilian slime ball. All right, whatever you say. Here you are on my dick, though, watching me as always. How can you say he's not right when he's giving you guys sources for everything he says? You guys are truly cunts. They are. I told you, man, they don't want to know. That's why they get mad. They get triggered in here because it's like, you're telling me something I don't want to hear. You know what I mean? They are losers. I mean, they really are. These people are misfits, man. Trust me. I see these people everywhere, and it's like, my God. I mean, look at them. You could smell them from a mile away. They're just filthy, stinky, shitty people. I don't care who is offended by that. You are the worst. I swear to Christ. If you all died tomorrow, the world would be better off. Yes, Bill Clinton. Yes, absolutely. I think he should go to prison. Just from what I've read so far, Bill Clinton should go to prison. Yep. Your identity is hating on Trump. Two sides of the same coin. Oh, you love that phrase. No, it's not. My identity is not hating on Trump. This is what I do for a living, guys. You don't support Donald Trump for a living. This is an occupation. That's like saying my identity, if I work at Burger King, is flipping burgers, or like if I work where you work, Sparrowhawk. You know what I mean? No, this is what I do for a living. It's what I do. I worked in factories my whole life. That wasn't my identity. So I do this for money. You guys do it out of a hyper obsession with a fucktard orange dickhead who hates you and despises you and would never even shake your hand in public if it wasn't a photo op. I'm doing this to feed a family. You do this shit and lose your family. Oh, no. I've got tons of evidence. Tons. I got all the accusations. I got everything I've seen and heard him do throughout his lifetime, wanting to fuck his own daughter, and he's telling a 10-year-old or saying about a 10-year-old girl, I'll be dating her in 10 years, going on The View. And when they ask you, what do you have in common with your daughter? He says sex. I mean, there's overwhelming evidence that he's a pedo, not to mention the accusations of child grape and stuff, which we just keep getting more of every day. Yeah. It's your identity, man. I never flipped burgers. I was just using that as an example because that's what I figure. I figure most of you guys probably work at Burger King. Then leave, Kelly. Who needs you? Don M worded the daughter. Probably. Oh my God. No, I didn't. I forgot about Damien. Shit, my bad. Biden sniffs kids, but he doesn't. If you look that up, same thing. You guys made it up. There's a video where he's leaning down to, I don't know if he's kissing a kid on the head or some shit, but they digitally altered it to add a sniffing sound. That's true too. Watch, you want to see? Did Biden get caught sniffing kids? Talk, bitch.
No, the claim that Joe Biden was caught sniffing kids is false and based on digitally altered videos and manipulated photos.
Yeah.
Fact-checking organizations, including the Associated Press and Reuters, have confirmed that videos circulating on social media which appear to show Biden sniffing a baby or a child have been manipulated with added audio or edited to misrepresent the interaction.
Yeah.
1. Edited videos. In a widely circulated video from June 2023, the sound of loud sniffing was digitally added to an original, unaltered clip which merely showed Biden leaning in to speak with a baby being held by its mother at Fort Liberty, North Carolina. The baby's mother confirmed the video was edited. 2. Altered photos. Other images shared online have also been digitally altered to suggest inappropriate touching. For example, an original AP photo from 2021 was edited to make it appear as if Biden's hands were under a child's shirt, when the original showed the child lifting their own shirt to show the president. And 3. Context of interactions. Biden has a long history of a tactile approach to politics that involves physical greetings and close interactions with people, including children and adults. While some women have described his behavior as making them feel uncomfortable, and critics have labeled it as creepy, there is no evidence of the claims mentioned in the question.
See?
Such claims are part of broader misinformation campaigns involving the manipulation of media.
Yeah. You see how you don't know anything? You see how even that is bullshit? Everything you guys say, everything you believe is bullshit. Your world is made up of false information, lies, and you don't even fucking realize it. It's actually, if it wasn't for the fact that you're all pure evil, I'd feel bad for you. Afro Kang, thoughts on Trump at AC? You seem like you're from New Jersey or New York City. So you got to know at least a bit just to tackle an old point Red Team used to say. I don't know. I thank you for the $5, but I think I'm confused. What do you mean Trump at AC? You talking about Atlantic City? And yeah, I'm originally from New York. Is that what you mean? We'll go down to the bottom here. Let me see. I'm sorry. I not understanding. Lee S, $5. I love your approach. You say what I think every day. Fuck DJT. Thank you, Lee S. You're the man, bro. You're the man. Do you realize the media runs the stories? Does exactly what we've been saying for 8 years now. The media, what media ran that story? You guys made up that Trump or that Biden sniffed kids. If that's what you're talking about, I don't understand what you mean. Nobody cares about Hunter Biden's laptop. Hunter Biden was nothing but the son of a president. Nobody cares about the son of a president. Let me see. I'm trying to find a dude here that, let me see. Oh, yeah. What's my name? What's my name, Trent? Why don't you tell everybody? Tell everybody my name. No, there's no clear evidence that Trump is personally refusing to release more Epstein files at this point, but there's ongoing controversy about whether the full set has been made public. Wrong. Donald Trump gives the DOJ orders. They listen to what he says. And Todd Blanche said it. I mean, the Deputy Attorney General and Donald Trump's ex-defense attorney said, we have 3 million more files and we're not releasing them. Therefore, it's Trump not releasing them. Because if Trump says release them, they do. Basically, the Taj Mahal and all those casinos Trump ran into the ground gave my family chills for a few years at least. Yeah. I thought that's what you meant. I mean, what could I say? I used to go to Atlantic City a lot. I was in his casinos and shit. And I mean, how the fuck do you fail at a casino? The house always wins. How do you do that? You have to be a monumental fuck up to bankrupt 3 casinos. Oh my God, bro. Insane. Trump releases 3 million documents. You libtards be like, what about the rest? Patience, you dumb. No, there's no patience. They said we're not releasing them. Period. There was no, we're not releasing them until they said this is the final release. That's what fucking Todd Blanche said yesterday. What we released, this is the final release. There's 3 million more files and we're not releasing them. That's what he said. And Trump didn't release, Trump was forced to release this shit. He didn't do it voluntarily. We had to pass a law to get him to fucking release the files. Oh, they are, man. That's why, the one thing I'm disappointed about with these live streams is that several times I've tried to, title the shows in a way so it's a different topic. We could talk about something differently. And every single fucking time it winds up being the same dumb conversations. I repeat myself constantly. Because these people don't learn. You tell them something once, you think they'd learn. They don't. Look at set the sinners free. I think you're out of your fucking mind. You think I care enough about you or what you say that I'm going out of my way to change the subject? Notice he quickly moved on from the point. I don't even know what you're saying, that the media runs the stories and lies to their massive audiences, MSNBC, ABC, AP. It's funny you didn't mention Fox. All they do is post BS lies. Give me examples, because this is what I'm confused about. I just proved that you guys and Fox News and you guys have been lying about Joe Biden. And now your response to that is, you see, the media lies. Fox News lies. Yeah, nobody's unaware of that except for you guys. Jay Sid, $2. What do you think about Roy DeMeo? Ever been to the Gemini Lounge? No, I've never been there. It's a church now. I think Roy DeMeo is a sick fuck. I do. And the Gemini twins, oh my God. They got let out because of actually, technically they were grandfathered in with the parole thing, but they were released. They were supposed to do life and they were released. They killed 200 people. Roy DeMeo was a sick fuck. He belonged in that trunk he ended up in. Let me see. Fox News be lying too. I never said they didn't. Well, yeah, I mean, no shit. Whoever said that the media doesn't lie? The problem with you guys is this. You've been convinced that they lie always, which is unfucking believable. Fox News is different. Fox News was never news. They argued in a court of law with the civil suit about Dominion voting systems that nobody in their right mind would take them seriously as news. They said that. Anybody who thinks it's an actual news network and not just entertainment, you're a fucking idiot. MSNBC, CNN, I don't watch any of that shit, but I will tell you this. There is no network that lies the way Fox News does. There is none. But I don't watch news, period. I don't think you understand. There's like 3 or 4 independent journalists I watch, and I always check what they say. I'll give you an example. Ben Meiselas, he outdid Joe Rogan. He has the biggest podcast in the fucking world. He's a liberal. I used to listen to him all the time. Then I started noticing that he's constantly lying about Trump. Like, not big lies, but I mean, he would almost every live stream or every video that motherfucker uploads, he'll say, oh my God, you're not going to believe what Trump said. Trump said this, this, and this. And then he'll play the clip. And it's not what Trump said. It's different. I mean, it's not like he lied about the whole, it's just he'll make it sound like Trump said this horrible thing or this insane, crazy thing. And then you watch the video and it'll be just Trump saying something calmly. Like, I'm trying to think of examples. One time he came on and he goes, "Oh my God, you're not going to believe this. Trump just gave a speech and he bashed our military. He said our military is woke and the generals are woke and we should do away with the military." And then he played the clip and Trump was like, "Yeah, our military's too woke," and moved on from it. I mean, that's all he said. So I don't play that shit. I don't like lies. I don't like, I will not lie about Donald Trump under any circumstances. I've stood up for the guy about the, good people on both sides thing and all that shit. I refuse to lie about anyone. So if I catch you lying about Trump, I won't listen to you anymore. And I don't listen to Ben Meiselas at all. Yeah, well, because our side is the more honest, more educated, smarter side. Yeah, so information coming from our side is just more credible. No, I don't even know what you're talking about. Take them as serious as FBI reports. Bro, I don't listen. I don't even know what you're talking about. What did I hear on CNN that I believe more than FBI reports? I have always hated him. Yeah, but that doesn't change the fact that everything I'm saying about him is true. I'm not an idiotic person. Only a Trump supporter is an idiotic person. If you don't support Trump, you have brains in your head. If you do, you don't have brains in your head. That's it. That's all there is to it. And that's why when you look at the electoral map from 2024, the dumbest people in the country voted for Trump and the smartest people in the country voted for Kamala. The thing about you guys that's amazing is that no matter how many times we prove that you're stupid, you still don't believe it. And you walk around with confidence spewing this nonsense. Trump isn't a convicted felon. Trump's not in the Epstein files. Meanwhile, you're totally wrong. You're wrong about everything you say. Fun fact, over 70% of the undocumented immigrants detained have no criminal record. In fact, I bet ICE agents have more criminals working for them. They do. Yeah. Matter of fact, the numbers I know is that right now, out of all the illegals that Trump has already deported, 5% of them have been criminals. Obama, that's another difference. Obama deported 5.2 million illegals, and 92% of them were criminals. So, anybody else want to donate to the show? I'd appreciate it. I got to get out of here soon. This is over 5 hours of these shows today. All these maggots here to argue with facts. They're so dumb. Hilarious how quickly you would forget that Trump won the popular vote, won the Electoral College, and flipped all purple states. Yobel, whatever the fuck your name, you think that he won by a landslide. He didn't. It's as simple as that. Trump won by 2 million votes. And this is the only time he won the popular vote, by the way. He won by 2 million votes. Biden beat him by 7 million votes. It was not a landslide by any stretch of the imagination. You guys see how many states he won, and you think, oh my God, it was a landslide. What you don't realize is there's no people in a lot of those states. Land can't vote. You ever see a map with the blue and the red? It shows the liberal states and all the red states, and there's more people on those little areas on the coasts there than there are in all of that middle area. So just because he won the states doesn't mean he won that many people. He got 2 million more votes. And by the way, the guy did not even get 50% of the votes. He didn't even get 50% of the votes. More than 50% of the people voted for somebody else. Farmland. Yeah. What about Joe Biden's daughter? What about her? Of course, yeah. Meanwhile, you're a fucking idiot. Kamala was elected to almost every position she's ever been in. So, you guys, I hope you don't have daughters. And if you do, I'm sure the bitch will wind up on a stripper pole at some point in her life. But for you to talk about people like that is amazing. Because it shows me that you think any woman who's successful is a dick sucker, that she sucked her way to the top. Which, listen, if you have anybody in your white trash families that actually ever saw some success, that's probably how they got there. That's why you project onto other people. But Kamala dated a guy named Willie Brown for a year, about 11 years after him and his wife split up. His wife was friends with Kamala. She was more than cool with it. And then years later, Kamala became a prosecutor. Okay. And then after that, everything was elected. District attorney, she was elected to that. Attorney general, she was elected to that. U.S. senator, she was elected to that. Vice president, she was elected to that. So, yeah. The only one sucking dick is your mother. Trump won more states. Biden won with mail-in ballots. Who does that? Well, everybody. I mean, mail-in. How do you think our military fucking votes from overseas? Mail-in ballots. You know who voted in 2022 in the midterms by mail-in ballot? Donald Trump. Also, in 2024, the Republicans were canvassing areas, telling people, and they were saying it on national TV, to vote by mail because they didn't want to lose out on the vote by mail votes. So that's just another thing they tell you, so you think somehow it's cheating. Mail-in ballots are not new. They weren't new in 2020. They've been around forever, and there's nothing wrong with them. And Trump's own attorney general said that election is the most secure election in history. And guess who agreed with Bill Barr? Ivanka Trump, Trump's daughter. Oh, yeah, it's true. They're not. You ever talk to a farmer? What are you talking about? Set the sinners free. Yeah, it's farmland. And there's farmland everywhere else, too, like in every single blue state. You know that? There's farmland everywhere. It's not just there. Yeah. Meanwhile, those states would be bankrupt without blue states. And as far as farmers, Trump did a number on them, too, because there was hundreds more farmer bankruptcies in 2025 than there was in 2024. Yeah, that's not true. Every state has mail-in ballots, you fucking dopes. Every single state has mail-in ballots. You think they're going to give up? Everybody, people on both sides vote by mail, so they're not going to outlaw mail-in ballots. I mean, they might now because of the midterms and shit. They're not taking any chances, but there's always been mail-in ballots. It's so amazing to me that you think they're new. And voter ID, again, it's another thing we talked about on the last show. Voter ID is unconstitutional, period. The Constitution says every man has a right to vote. It doesn't say anything about ID. Ban mail-in ballots. In other words, anything that makes it so that your guy will most likely lose, right? Do away with that. That's what voter ID is about. That's what voter ID is about. What about the Epstein files? Gives you wood. Oh God, another gay guy. Oof. I don't mind gay people, but don't project onto me. He rigged the election. He told Trump he won 4 hours before the poll closed. Yeah, there's something went on there. I'm not saying that he didn't win the election, but Elon, I don't know. The guy said with his own words that he it's because of him Trump won the election. And even his son that day in the Oval Office said, we do whatever we want at SpaceX. And then Trump made a comment. We won Pennsylvania. He said Elon went to Pennsylvania and he knows all about those computers, those voting machines, and we won Pennsylvania. Odd. I don't feel no way about farmers losing farms that have been in their families for hundreds of years. You mean you don't feel bad for them? I don't feel bad for anybody who voted for Trump, period. So the farmers that have gone out of business, if they supported Trump, good. They deserved it. They didn't realize he was going to do this to them, even though the smart people have been telling everybody for years, this is what's going to happen. Never vote by mail. Yeah, okay. Except Trump voted by mail, huh? What do you want foreigners voting in national elections? Illegal immigrants can't vote. If you're talking about illegal immigrants, they can't vote in national elections. They can't. Yeah. I don't know what your point is. He released 3 million, and now there's another 3 million they won't release. Did you know that? Oh my God. Yeah, they buy the bankrupted farms. JD Vance and his buddies. Yeah, absolutely. Absentee voting was used in 1775 for people living in areas vulnerable to Indian attack. Quotes from historian Alex Keyser, who wrote an entire book on the subject matter. Yeah, mail-in ballots have always been here. I mean, they're like mail-in ballots. They think it's something that was created in 2020. They really do. No, they don't. They don't. You can't, guys. Have any of you ever voted? Yeah, and Jennifer, that's perfectly fine. Have any of you ever voted? You know how it goes, right? You can't vote as an illegal. You have to be registered to vote. When you go to the polling place, they have to have your information. Okay, it doesn't matter if you have to show ID or not. They're not going to. You don't walk in and say in Spanish, "Hey, I need a ballot." They give you a ballot, you fill it out and turn it in. That's not how it works. And even if you did somehow get to that point, they would catch it anyway. Donald Trump did every type of audit and recount imaginable for the 2020 election. Even when he hired a firm to find fraud, they couldn't find fraud, so he fired them. I mean, that's why no outcome determinative fraud was found in the 2020 election. None. You don't need a vote, an ID to vote, and illegals can't vote. Even if they have a license, they can't vote. Trump was winning. This one is the best. Listen, anytime you see somebody say this, you know you have a truly, truly stupid individual. Okay, truly stupid individual. Trump was winning in 2020 when the polls closed. It's on the news. Then we wake up. Biden has votes are 3. What is that? 3? I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But in other words, you're saying Biden had more votes at 3 a.m. It's called counting. That's all it is. I swear to God, it's called counting. It's just like if you're watching a football game or a basketball game and you turn it off for a minute, or you get up and go take a piss, make a sandwich, come back, and the score is different. You ever see that happen? Do you think the game is rigged? Or do you think that's how, counting works? Because they made it clear for months ahead of time that exactly what was going to happen is that the people who don't give a shit about COVID and are going to go to the polls, Trump people, those votes get counted first. The election day votes that are done at the polls, in-person voting, those are counted first. They said for months, no matter what happens throughout the day, it's going to show, or throughout the night, it's going to show Trump winning. Then, after the polls close and they tally up all those votes, then they count the mail-in ballots and all that shit. So they literally predicted exactly what was going to happen because, of course, it was. The majority of Democrats did not want to go out to the polls because of COVID, but the majority of dumb MAGA people did. So that's what it is. I mean, when you say something like that, Klein, I mean, I gotta ask. I mean, do you have any fucking brains? Do you realize what you're saying is, Jesus, when I went to bed, Trump was winning, and when I woke up, Biden was winning. How's that possible? Well, how is it possible that it happens always in elections, that one guy is winning, and then as states are counted and stuff, like, oh my God, look, the other guy's winning now. You're telling me it's the first time you ever saw? Like, you think if the first guy to win the guy that wins the first state, you think he wins the election because he was ahead with that one state? The other guy had no state. He had one state. Therefore, the one state guy wins. Oh, God almighty. I'm going to have I got to be careful. This is going to be the death of me. Farmers lost because Democrats passed death taxes. Yeah, no, not quite. Farmers lost because Donald Trump tariffed China, and China stopped buying soybeans from our soybean farmers, and they went out of fucking business. And then he increased beef imports from Argentina, so he fucked over our cattle ranchers too. These people forget you have to register to vote, and usually it's ham-fisted to you in the DMV or something where you obviously have to be a citizen for most of that stuff. Yeah, they think it's funny that I think a lot of them registered to vote. That's why we're in the predicament we're in now. I mean, you have to swear under penalty of fucking perjury that you're an American citizen, and there's safeguards in place to make sure you are. You don't just pick a polling place and walk in and say, "Give me a ballot," fill out a ballot, and turn it in. Jesus Christ. I go to vote. They say, "What is your name?" Then they open a giant book. They find my name. Then I sign next to my name, and then I get a ballot. I mean, there was never any need for voter ID before. The only reason they want voter ID is because more black people and Hispanic people don't have a valid ID. So Republicans know that if they pass voter ID laws, then the minorities will, they'll vote in smaller numbers, which means there's more chances of the Republicans winning. That's all it is. It's just more voter suppression. What other time did what happen? Oh, probably damn near every election. You're telling me, Kleinsey Jr., that it like the example I gave is crazy, right? You're telling me that, or it's accurate. If a guy, say there's two guys running, there's Trump and Biden, or whoever, uh, pick two names, okay? And one guy, he gets the first state goes to him. You're telling me he wins the election then? Because he was ahead with that one state? Well, I don't know where you live, Smith Mark, but that doesn't sound right to me. Oh, a voter's ID card. You don't mean a state issued ID or a driver's license? I don't know. Voter suppression, yeah. They also don't want women to vote. Exactly. Anybody who votes Democrat. Yeah, Kleinsey, you're the one that doesn't understand how counting works, and you're telling me I'm a moron? Yeah. You have to swear under penalty of perjury. And then again, when the votes are counted, there's a million different safeguards where they can figure out if illegals voted. And those ballots are just thrown out. They're always caught. Illegal immigrants cannot vote. That's it. That's all there is to it. And if you look it up, it's extremely rare. Watch this. How often is there widespread fraud among illegal immigrants in federal elections? Motherfucker. Why can't you just give me a simple answer? Bitch. How often is there widespread fraud of voting amongst illegal immigrants in federal elections? Hmm. All right. Well, it's not giving me an answer, but the first article is American Immigration Council, and it even says Heritage Foundation's own data proves it's not a problem. It's extremely rare. For some reason, it gave me this answer earlier, and it doesn't want to now, and I don't know why. How often is there widespread voting amongst illegal immigrants in federal elections? All right, well, it's just giving me this. I don't know why it won't give me the answer, but the answer is it's extremely rare. I did it on the live stream before this. Tell me you believe AI is never wrong without telling me. No. What you guys don't get is that I already know the answer. I'm sitting here telling you the answer. It's extremely rare. The only reason I do the AI thing is so you can hear it from something else, because you're not going to believe me. So I'll check the AI and you'll hear the answer. You still won't believe it because you're stupid, but then that's just somebody else saying the same thing I said, right? The same thing. That is, whatever I've done on here to, as a second source for you. You understand? Jesus Christ. Yeah, filling out a voter registration doesn't automatically make you a registered voter. It goes through a process before your approval is given. Yes. No, there was no answer. It didn't give me the answer. It simply didn't. I could ask Grok, but I don't really trust that bitch. Hey, Grok.
Yeah.
Can illegal aliens vote in federal elections?
Checking the latest on this.
No, illegal aliens or any non-citizens cannot legally vote in federal elections. It's straight up against federal law. Under 18 U.S.C. Section 611, aliens are prohibited from voting in elections for president, vice president,
Okay.
Congress.
Hey, listen. So how often is there widespread voting amongst illegal immigrants in America?
Checking the latest on non-citizen voting claims.
Wait a minute.
Checking the latest data on this.
What's the claim I made? What are you talking about? What's the claim I made? What do you mean that's not the claim you made? I said that illegal aliens can't vote in federal elections. That's not what I said. Yeah, it's a different thing because murder you can commit on your own. You could just decide I'm going to go kill somebody. Voting, there's a whole process. Like somebody said, you got to register. That's checked out. Then you got to go to the ballot place and they have to have your information and then they give you a ballot. That gets turned in. After your votes get turned in, everything is audited and double checked to make sure things like illegal immigrant voting isn't happening. So do I not really? Well, you know what? You're just a pain in my balls who does nothing but talk shit. So people treat the like button like it costs them money. Don't worry about me. Worry about yourself. Guys, hit the like button if you like. If not, who cares? You asked if they were allowed. We are saying it still happens. Yeah, no. How often are illegal immigrants voting in federal elections?
Checking the latest data on this. Extremely rarely, like almost never in any meaningful numbers. It's a federal crime for non-citizens, including undocumented immigrants, to vote in federal elections, with penalties up to 5 years in prison, fines, and deportation.
Okay, so there you go. Rarely ever. It literally exactly what I said. And that's Elon Musk's grok. No, they can't vote even if they have a driver's license. None of these idiots would say to your face what they easily type from the security of their keyboards. I know they wouldn't. I know. Or he's a wild thought. People inky use the like button if they think the commentary is worth like. No, the majority of you in here are MAGA, right? You're not going to hit the like button. But it's also up and down. Last night I got like almost 400 likes on my last video of the day. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Depends. Maybe it depends on the ratio of smart people versus dumb people, you know? But I don't really care. Likes, I've tried to pay bills with likes. It doesn't work. I've asked like the electric company, hey, would you take 2,000 likes for the electric bill this month? And they say, no, you're going to need money. So that's what my focus is. Oh shit. All right, guys. I gotta get away for the night. I gotta get away from these people. In some states it is illegal to check ID so anyone can vote. No, that's not true. Oh God, I give up. Have a good night, guys. Peace.